Hey there. This is Daniel's voice. I have to say whatever German dudes tells me to. Not that I have my own opinion, but I love German dude. If you do too, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe. People in stock photos. What's the weirdest way you've seen your photos being used? In college, a photography student took some pictures of me playing classical guitar. I ended up in a Viagra ad. I was 19. College must have been rough. Yeah, my penis still has scars. You are probably joking, but I knew a guy who had a hard lesson when he was in college about how rings should be removed before a hand job. Hard lesson. I didn't even know I was in a stock photo until my grandma bought a picture frame at Sears with my T-ball team picture in it. They saved her a step. A silver with no upvotes? A first time seeing this on Reddit for me. There's a kind of time block where you can't see up or down votes on new posts other than your own for a certain amount of time. Not sure how long it is for this sub. My whole family modeled back in the 80s. Somehow my dad ended up in a brochure for some born again church that said he was a sinner and adulterer until he found Jesus. Question: where did he find Jesus? Was he behind the dried oregano? Asking for a friend. I found Jesus behind my couch more times than I can count. Fucking kids are constantly losing shit. In college I had a housemate that had a mini bust of Jesus. I decided it was a good idea to play the game of Where's Jesus. Some of his most memorable spots were on the back of the toilet, in the door of the fridge, and in the microwave. Toilet was the funniest because sometimes they wouldn't feel like moving him and just made him face the wall after finding him. No way. I can't believe I found someone else who does this. My house has had an ongoing game of Find Jesus for the past 3 years, using a little dashboard Jesus on a spring who's got his hands up playfully like you got me. I found him in our garage when we moved in. The best is when other people are over, when someone shouts I found Jesus out of nowhere. This takes place many years ago when foreigners were a rare sight in Japan. I'm a big, friendly looking white guy, and I was asked to do some photos of a couple on a date. So I go around to some scenic locals with a beautiful Japanese woman, the photographer, and his assistants. Fun day. Took tons of romantic photos. And that was the end of it. Until a month or two later when my date and I showed up on posters all over the subway as part of an AIDS awareness campaign. Because you can catch that from foreigners, you know. Needless to say, my friends and co-workers thought it was hilarious, and amazingly it didn't have any noticeable impact on my dating life. Looking back, my only regret is that I didn't steal one of the posters. I'll be honest, that is pretty amazing and hilarious. We have two options is here. One is that all white people look alike argument, and the second, I think, someone saying, I'm dating the AIDS dude and being proud of their meetinich find. He looks like the guy on the subway poster, but what if he isn't? And it looks like I think all white guys look the same? I ended up finding myself on one of those now hiring posts on Facebook for a company I was trying to get hired at. He's literally the guy in the picture. Imagine going in for interviews and seeing this guy walking ahead of you and then looking at the wall and seeing his damn face on the hiring poster. Triple bonus points if he wears that same outfit to interviewer discreetly but urgently wondering if his cold meds are kicking in too hard or if the receptionist is seeing this also. The university took a bunch of professional photos of me and some friends for their billboards and campaigns. I was pretty surprised to open a handbook and find out I was the face of their fine arts program. Especially pottery. I was a neuroscience major. The same thing happened to me at my college, except it was just a general brochure about the campus. Grandma put it on the fridge. She was so proud of my short stint as a model. This happened to my mom. She was put on her school's master degree brochure. She went back to school for it when I was about 13 and she had a short hair phase because it was easy maintenance. There is a picture of her with bags under eyes with short boy hair on a brochure somewhere. Sort of funny. I'm in the header of my university's grad school application. Whenever someone posts a screenshot of their acceptance email, Facebook facial recognition asks if I want to tag myself. Do you tag yourself? I got accepted to UT's nursing program. Again, I googled my husband's name and a picture of him has been mistaken and mislabeled as Ann Coulter's husband. Haha, now we're talking. Why are you talking to Ann Coulter? Probably to confirm her husband isn't secretly married to Ann Coulter as well as her. I have some friends that found one of their wedding pictures from Facebook somehow printed on a pillow in a market in a Middle Eastern country. Like, they just randomly happened upon their wedding photo in a random street market. They are from the US. Okay, but did they buy the pillow? Yeah, how could they leave that detail out? The nerve of some people. Not me, but my younger brother had his picture taken when he was about 9 or 10 for the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. My brother was a really cute red-headed kid with freckles and they asked my mom if they could use his photo for their promotional materials. A few months later, we get a brochure in the mail with my brother's face on it talking about the Big Brothers program. It was really funny because they had changed his name to Timmy and in little kid handwriting written things like, "I really need a big brother and have you found me a big brother yet?" and then ended it with "Love, Timmy." My siblings and I laughed a lot over it and called my brother Timmy for weeks. Only weeks? Are you guys really siblings? They didn't say how many weeks. My husband and I did stock photos when I was pregnant with our first. I ended up seeing myself later on the side of a bus as well as in a pamphlet for young moms. Flattering. At my doctor's office. The more interesting part, though, is that my husband took part in another family shoot, various poses cooking in the kitchen etc. Years later I was looking up a colleague on Facebook and her cover photo was her and my husband chopping vegetables in a stock photo. More context on colleague, she was apparently at the shoot too. I was in a different room doing prenatal yoga poses with another girl while my husband did the family photo shoot. The colleague was the mom. Husband was dad and a teen girl was daughter, which I gloated over. Of course he was cast as having a teen kid while I got be teen mom. At the time I had not yet worked with this person. Years later I became acquainted with her through work, but only peripherally. I happened to look her up on LinkedIn Facebook to see what her work background was. That's when I discovered the picture. It was so fucked up. It was several years after the shoot. People had commented on her photo too, like "you look great" and shit. She never explained the nature of the photo and it is still her cover photo to this day. Over 7 years later, she probably is a bit too proud of her short stint as a model, or thinks it's absolutely hilarious and leaves it as a joke. I'm in an ad campaign in my home state in Australia for the government. I'm the face of "Don't buy alcohol for underage people." It's just me looking like a dad who's thinking of buying a drink, obviously for a teenager somewhere. Ironically I don't actually have my own kids. I get emails from people I haven't heard from in years saying "I saw you on the wall of the bottle shop," which is kinda funny. Bottle shop is now my go-to phrase for the liquor store. If you really want you could use the proper word, which is bottle-o. My friend was in a stock photo where he held up a baby picture, and it got used for an anti-circumcision ad campaign. Was pretty shocked when I saw his face on the side of a bus. I'm legitimately in tears laughing at this. It's just so absurd to see your friend's face on the side of bus being anti-circumcision. My cousin took a photo of me wrestling my sister at a family reunion a few years back and it somehow wound up on an online forum about domestic abuse. I had a few of my friends messaging me who were obviously very confused. Lol. Why were a few of your friends on a domestic abuse forum? One person finds it and says "Yo, is this Greg?" to another and it gets passed around. I was asked to go to a big opening event party for a park in China. As a foreigner this kind of thing is pretty common. They want some white faces. Free food and amp drink. All the other guests had to pay. But in the end they start guilt tripping me. Put on this traditional Chinese costume they say. Some kind of kung fu looking robe thing. Let us take some pictures they say. Fine. I let them do it. A few weeks go by and random people start pointing me out in public. My students are giggling in class. Finally when I'm out and about someone approaches me. "Are you the guy from?" and shows me a picture on the phone. My likeness in Chinese traditional wear has been printed on building-sized billboards around the city. I look goofy as fuck. All around the city where I live and work. My ex used to work with a local photographer who is apparently pretty well known. He took a photo of me and my family and now it's a permanent piece at the New Mexico Museum of Art in Santa Fe. So strange. I wonder how many people's houses I'm I don't live too far from there. Now I kinda wanna search for that picture next time I go. I got used as a person with intellectual disabilities. I also did not know my photo was going to be used for anything. Maybe your inability to make medium-term memories is why this was a shock to you.